Perhaps when LaCroix runs out of
He's busy testing a new type of LaCroix water.
God will guide my shots through it. Before I send you to eternal damnation, any last words?
I really liked Skyrim's vampires. I don't know if you ever played...
Skyrim and Morrowind, or not Morrowind, but, well, actually also Morrowind. But Oblivion, the whole Elder Scrolls series, has, pretty good fantasy vampire stuff. Some kind of, werewolf content in some of them, but, who cares about that?
Yeah, who cares about that? Nobody. It's all about the vampires. I'm sure if Requiem was not in the Abyss, he would agree.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he has this whole shtick about mummies and Medusas and stuff, but obviously he agrees that vampires are the best monster.
Yeah.
The only reason you even have werewolves is for a point of comparison to make it more obvious how cool vampires are.
Yeah, he would definitely agree with this.
Ah, okay.
Does he have some sort of magical faith powers?
He does.
That does bring the issue with vampire hunters, particularly in RPGs, where like player characters will sometimes be powerful enough that really no human can actually in any way meaningfully hurt them, but then also the moment they have any sort of magical powers, it feels like, are they really monster? Like they're a type of monster essentially. They're a wizard at best.
Yeah.
Like, isn't there a whole like mage faction that is like Christian wizards or something?
Yeah, no, there's sort of a Catholic theme in the mage faction, and these guys may as well just be one of them. I thought mage and vampire play particularly well together, but they are supposed to be the same setting, or at least they were by the end. By the time this. Okay. So yeah, this is another one of those very annoying battles with massive health bar. What happened? Did you teleport and can cancel that? Right, that's the reasons. Yeah, this is just a battle of attrition. I'm not sure if I have enough attrition to do this, but... Are you done being invincible?
Really annoying. Are you out of bullets?
No, I'm just trying to find a way to hit him more than once before he teleports. Man, that isn't doing the trick.
Shield me!
Close enough that this will just
That is so annoying.
Yeah, it's just... The ability to teleport and the ability to turn invincible are both super annoying powers, and he has both of those.
Are we out of blood?
I think I'm out of spare blood.
Still have the mummy wrap fetish. Like, that's what's most important here.
I mean, it does increase my passive healing rate, so... Yeah, he's invincible for a while. I should let that wear off.
And does he have unlimited bullets?
Oh, of course.
Oh, right.
He does have to reload, though. The combat music has stopped. I mean, at least he keeps on doing the invincible thing right now.
He hasn't teleported.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is riveting viewing for our listener.
Yeah, it's just... goddamn. I'm low enough on resources that I kind of have to take the cautious approach here, notwithstanding the fact that the cautious approach is in play. At this point. This time, I'm going to fight him square the entire way through. Skip this. Okay, fantastic. The technology to skip cutscenes just wasn't there yet.
That wasn't invented until 2005.
He is under divine protection.
Unfortunately, in a spot with no cover, I am going to have to just tank some first time. What the hell? It's fine sometimes. You can shoot twice very well.
So any game designers watching this, don't do this.
Yeah, Don't.
There's certain type of features that's like, yeah, that makes the boss more difficult, but it's really just frustrating. Invincibility's one, teleporting's one. Both of them is a
boss who is heavily focused on like movements, especially if they're melee focused. So they are like teleporting to your blind spot, and you have to reorient yourself a lot. But a teleporting sniper, like, yeah, that's a powerful combination of abilities. Whereas frustrating to fight is no fun. Like, I'm sure you could make it work, but they did not. And invincibility, you know, where it's just, yeah, sitting around waiting for the boss to become invincible. Just calm down to say, you stop teleporting, don't get too close. Which means we are now playing rubber shooter. But now I have enough resources to win the war of attrition here. Or yeah, I hide behind cover. Especially because cover a little bit of health. My waiver isn't going to wear off. Reloading after every single shot because it's a good way to mark the time. I do about 4 points of damage, bearing in mind I have a firearm skill of like 8. And I slowly whittle away his, I'm gonna say, about 2 points of health.
just fascinating to watch. Are you sure you wouldn't want me to just cast you into the abyss?
I mean, I feel like it would take longer to get out of that than it would to get out of this. Granted, they're comparable experiences all they have, but,
I mean, you don't seem very concerned about Requiem.
I mean, you said not to worry about it. Should I be worried? I actually would. I don't know how much due diligence can be expected of me. Now he's invincible again for a bit. Like, if I just had to do a little dance where I hop back and forth out of cover and shoot him all the time, that would be kind of shallow, but it would at least give me something to do constantly. Instead, what I do is every time he activates his invincibility, I go behind cover, and I wait for a couple of seconds while it wears off. And then whenever I pop out, he shoots me for like 10-15% of my health bar.
Looks like you might actually beat him, though.
Oh yeah, I haven't even used the spare blood that I have back now. He doesn't stand a chance.
Tell me he's the last part of this dungeon, though.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we have to go and talk to the professor after we finish this game. That's part of the actual good parts of this game, so, you know. I do believe there's a persuasion check coming up. That will determine whether this is a kidnapping or a rescue.
That sounds like something Coach Ola would say, like, in character.
But there's a persuasion check coming out that will determine whether this is a kidnapping or a rescue.
Yes. You know she would.
This is true. Alright. What junk can I get rid of to make room for this? Crossbow's not that great. I don't know why they bothered inventory limits.
It's one of those things that every single game has, but usually it's always so ridiculously high that it, you're essentially like, how would they carry this much around? And it mostly just ends up being annoying, busy work.
I told you everything. There's no reason for you to keep me here. Let me go!
But
So he's like
sounds
Swedish
so
or something?
fun and charming.
I am an archaeologist. You can't hold me here like this. I am a hostage.
So which are
I
you,
do
an
not
archaeologist
need
or a hostage?
protection. Bring me back to my hotel at once.
Everyone knows that archaeologists and hostages are mortal enemy since the dawn of time.
Just get me out of these caverns and away from these crazies. I think I'm starting to get pneumonia. Sarcophagus? You went through all that trouble for the sarcophagus?
No,
Yeah,
no.
I'll
I'm
tell
a
you.
superhero. I
But
came here to
don't you
rescue
think it would
and
be
I
better
also
to get
happen
out
to
of
have a
here
passing
before those
academic
men
degree,
come back?
sarcophagus.
And a gun.
I guess if you can get all the way here, you deserve the answers. But can I make one request first? After I answer your questions, you help me escape.
I already offered to do that.
Also, everybody's dead. You're fine.
Yeah, like, there's also nothing to escape from anymore. Really what I'm saying is that after you answer my questions, I'm going to let you go. 'Cause I'm the only person left who is dangerous.
Alright, how sexy is the mummy in the sarcophagus?
Sarcophagus. That is a long and interesting legend, lost and found throughout the ages. Tell me, are you familiar with the Assyrians? Yeah, well, the markings on the sarcophagus seem to hint that it is from sometime between 1050 and 800 BC, which was a period of fierce expansion by the Assyrians.
Fun fact.
Oddly,
the Bronze
for
Age
those
is
years,
actually
only one
the
king shows up on the
spotty
historical
enough
record.
and full of rulers claiming to have superpowers that you can totally have just superpowered supernatural creatures openly ruling little kingdoms and stuff, and it totally works. 800 BC is starting to push it a little bit, but it still works.
While most likely he wiped all evidence of his predecessor's existence or passed the name to his heirs, one monarch, Mesarach, the one-eyed king, is given credit for the territory and...
You also have stuff like
But he would have had to have been over 200...
the Bronze Age collapse and like the
Dracula.
sea peoples invading Egypt where we don't really know what's going on. You can just kind of put something in there yourself.
Right. The Dark Ages are conveniently very dark.
In what is
a
the
full-on
word?
demonic
Pristine or
invasion
intact condition for so many years. But this is who
Pretty
is
weird
believed
that
to
a
be
memory of
contained
that
within.
never shows up, like a cultural memory of that never shows up later on in the historical record. But for the years themselves, it's actually a full-scale demonic invasion of Europe could have happened and we would not know about it. That's how spotty the records are.
Men educated guess. Maybe you have not heard. It was stolen from the museum before we had a chance to open it. Usually we use equipment to carbon date, X-ray, and take air samples before we pry open the lid. You know, it is interesting that you ask me that. The goddess on the outside of the sarcophagus was
Oh hey, Lamashtu.
Yeah.
In Assyrian myth, Lamashtu was an evil demon who preyed on humans.
You and Requiem talked about her. She's actually a close personal friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Is she actually like the mother of vampires?
She is, in fact.
Around the sarcophagus
Could I get
portray
an
a
introduction?
regal figure drinking the blood of
I don't think you're her type.
This image
I
is
mean,
found in many cultures,
definitely appear to be some kind of
specifically among
supernatural
those
entity
of
by now.
royal
Like,
lineage.
I'm only
But
partially
there
corporeal,
is a quite
and I've got a lot more
scientific
tentacles than I used
explanation.
to. I feel like I should at least
A
ask her
disorder
for,
known as
I mean, it wouldn't be a copy
porphyria.
at this point.
In
Ask her
short,
to
it is
feast on
caused
the
by a
negative psychic
deficiency of
energy
the iron in the
site
blood, and
of a
in
recent
many
atrocity.
cultures, for the nobility that could conceivably
Whatever
get
it is
away
that
with
evil
the cure,
supernatural
the
entities do
treatment was to drink
Hey, if it
human
doesn't work
blood.
out, then it doesn't work out. But if I don't even try, then I'm gonna be asking myself what might have been my entire, well, forever, I guess. Like literally.
But
She's just kind of focusing on herself right now.
your enemies is, if
I mean, I guess
nothing
that's fair.
else, symbolic. It can inspire fear in your foes and dissidents. Don't misunderstand me. I in no
Yeah, she took the
vampires. That's what
she took the fall of the Neo-Babylonian Empire pretty hard.
Believe they exist.
She's still pretty broken up about it.
Guess that makes sense. And I mean, you know, I don't want to be.
You see, In
like, you know, a
archaeology,
shoulder to
one
cry
can
on,
spend
and
years
just
looking
kind of
for a
leaves
dig
behind when
site,
she's
following
pulled
local
herself together.
rumors,
That's always-
studying old maps. It's complicated.
If you try to
process,
force your way
very
into someone who's trying to recover from something like that, that's often the situation you end up in. So, yeah. Probably better
Finding
to
and
just
organizing
let her
a
pull
dig
herself
is the
together,
least
you know, give it a
interesting
couple
part of
thousand
an
years. I have that kind of time
archaeologist's
now, I
job.
assume.
Trust me, you don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, like all 7 of her valves are constantly howling in pain. It's not great.
That I can't be sure of, nor can anyone. But I promise you it is more likely to be filled with, gummy bears than vampires. Perhaps maybe a mummy.
A mummy?
Likely the kind to go about chasing Abbott and Costello.
All right, we're getting somewhere now.
Not much, really. I'm an archaeologist, not a mythologist. But I do know that Lamastu, the Assyrian demoness, was thought to have been the inspiration for Lilith, the first wife of Adam in the Jewish Old Testament, another source of the vampire myth.
I don't think you'd call it the Jewish Old Testament.
Interesting. There is a surprisingly...
I think it's only the Old Testament in the Christian context. Like,
Right.
Sheer luck, we were able to find the key, not far from the sarcophagus. Why no one...
I think Lilith specifically comes out of
It's perplexing.
Jewish interpretations of those books.
Strange you would ask. I haven't seen the key since it was loaded onto the Elizabeth Dane in Turkey. It was stolen before the sarcophagus even. I am still hopeful that the police find both pieces before the contents can be disturbed.
And your plan is to
No,
disturb yourself.
it's not the kind of key you can copy at the hardware store. It's actually very sophisticated,
worried that,
and I meant to
archaeological
study
data
it
would be
at
lost
the
if someone
museum.
just pops
I've
up with
answered
the
all
TNT.
your questions.
But,
Do you think now you could please
disturbed,
get me
you know, I
out
hope
of
we get
here?
it before the
I
conference
don't
is
care
disturbed.
who
Still a
you
good way of
are or
putting it
why
when
you've
you
had
back
so
cracking
many
it open
questions
yourself.
about the sarcophagus. I just want to leave this place. Thank you, my friend. I don't know where you came from, but I will never forget this kindness.
You don't seem like much of a threat.
Why is he in a bathrobe?
As far as I can tell, it's because they abducted him straight out of the...
Time of judgment.
Oh, god damn it.
Okay, I pumped like 20 shotgun rounds into you. I thought you were supposed to be shooting. Doc, you're on your own.
You saved, right?
It's
Right? I don't know if we're gonna make it. Oh, I guess the boat's right there.
Yeah, totally fine. Ah, spider!
Too bad for that archaeologist, though.
I was briefly distracted by the ghost of a spider. That episode of the Magnus Archives, like, and I didn't know about the web when I listened to it. And I haven't really listened to it since. But this is fine. This is fine. Immediately before Dr. You know, when I first heard that episode of the Magnus Archives, about the web. But from what I remember, it seemed to be like a very web-like episode anyway. This guy was just being harassed by the ghost of a spider.
Yeah.
sounds like a joke. Like you crushed a spider and is now being haunted by its ghost. Like, seriously, that sounds like a spooky Halloween-themed joke.
Thankfully, you haven't like crushed any spiders recently, right?
I actually do try to avoid crushing spiders. I usually just wrap them up in a paper towel and toss them outside.
I had a dream this afternoon. You were in it. You were stroking my hair.
I'm gonna stop you right
telling
there.
me you loved
no
me.
one wants to hear.
And then, in the
anyone
next
else's
instant,
dreams.
you were gone. And I was alone, and I cried out for you, but you wouldn't answer. You're here now. I have never felt more relieved.
Ruin your life anymore. I mean,
You're so kind to me. I got something for you. Here, it should fit you. I hope you like it. I thought it looked like something you'd wear.
I mean, it looks exactly the same as something I would wear. I put it on underneath the other things that I wear, so.
Think of me when you wear it. You need my blood? Of course.
I actually really do. But also, she's not supposed to give me the bulletproof vest because I told her to stay out of trouble. She's gonna buy the bulletproof vest from Mercurio instead. Money is never too much of a problem.
Though, did she still give it to you?
But yep, I've got it, so.
No.
I mean, we'll
I
see
guess
if
that's
the
an
spot
issue with the
area is on her.
patch.
Normally, you know, the branch there is that when she says she's being followed, if you say, okay, stay inside, stay safe, she doesn't give you the body armor, but she survives to the end of the game. If you tell her any other response, and not to worry about it, or to buy a gun, then she does get you the body armor, but she will die. Also, at some point, she's supposed to give us her college savings, but I guess she didn't. Maybe it's coming up still. I feel like it was supposed to be earlier in the plotline.
She's still going to night classes.
Well, I mean, good, because what actually bugs me is that there's no option to say, no, Heather, keep going to college. You're more useful to me with marketable skills.
Did Chunk die?
I think he may
He's
have.
dead.
Whatever happened here was certainly a massacre, but I don't see his body specifically.
Okay.
Just generic folks.
It's probably fine.
And this place looks alright, so.
He cleaned up the vampire who got ashed.
Yeah.
With whom do they think they're dealing? Attack me in my own building! They're desperate. They've shown
Somebody's
their
got a case of the megalomania.
last-ditch attempt to steal the prize.
I wouldn't know what that'd be like.
The Sabbat. A pack of shovelheads with cheap pistols was all they could muster.
What did you end up doing with Powers of Horror?
Up, but I took care of them. And my sheriff brought the rest their final
I
death in the
have
lobby.
secreted it away
Sabbat animals.
in an alternate dimension that I discovered while I was extricating myself from my physical form. I wound up displaced in space and time for a bit, and when I got back here, I grabbed the source of my power and took it to one of the places I discovered on the way back.
Oh man, I remember the first time I became unstuck in time.
Yeah,
Why
this
else?
happened a lot.
The motive of
'cause I gotta
every
say, it was
kindred in
kinda
the entire
disconcerting.
city these last few nights.
It does and it doesn't because, you're unstuck in time.
They've
That's
been
fair.
misled into thinking the sarcophagus holds a sleeping ancient. And most
So you've done it once, you've also done it technically an infinite amount of time.
I mean, strictly speaking, I'm still doing it right now, but I'm also
Yeah.
The Sabbat's infamy is in no small part due to their practice of diablerie. That is, drinking the blood of other
Now,
kindred,
given that this is
especially
how you,
older
get more
ones,
powerful, the
until
only way
they
to
are
increase your
dead.
generation, it's weird that this is
Diablerists
considered a
gain the
taboo.
power of those they've fed upon.
It's the kind of taboo you
In the
would expect
Camarilla,
to fall away to
this is an
obedience
act
basically
punishable by
immediately.
death. For the moment, we've manipulated the
Like, I
press into
realize the
reporting
Camarilla
tonight's
are
events as a terrorist
trying to
attack.
enforce a taboo
Their
against
soldiers
it
may be no
because it's a
danger
means
to
of
me,
order vampires
but their
controlling
threat to the
other ones,
masquerade
but
is abundant.
that
They
shouldn't really
must
be
be
enough.
destroyed. Can you meet this task?
Now, can you only gain power from drinking the blood of a vampire older than you?
Mercenary attitude won't get you far in this organization. But if that's what it takes in this situation,
Not to tip my hand
Agreed.
or anything, but give me the money.
the Sabbat have made their haven at the Hallibrook Hotel, right under our noses here in downtown. Kill their leader. The rest will scamper out of the city. This is the last time they ever set foot in Los Angeles. Before you go, Beckett told me you went to the Society of Leopold. Did you find out how my sarcophagus is opened?
Explosives.
Take your money. Tell me, what have you learned? A key? Where? Do you have it? Not only did you infiltrate the Society of Leopold,
feel
but
like
you managed to
infiltrate
kill
might be
their
a
greatest
strong
hunter. They are developing a
It
legend.
was a
for
fairly
yourself.
direct assault.
Superb. A toast to you, and to victory over the Sabbat. And to Bach. May all his progeny meet such fates. The Sabbat must be wiped out before dawn. Then, when you come back, we'll begin the hunt for the key. And another thing. You've been attracting a lot of attention to yourself. Mortal attention. But I'm going to overlook it for now. But keep breaking the masquerade, and I guarantee you'll never break it again.
I forgot how I got that masquerade violation. Okay, now we won't need any covert or public skills ever again. I guess strictly speaking, we'll need the seduction we already have to beat our blood dolls. Yeah, so now it's basically just a matter of ranged combat, combat defense, and thaumaturgy. The shotgun shells in this game tend to feel like Nerf guns in the best of conditions. So let's go ahead and bump up. They cost the same. Let's do our perception. Get that inspection skill up there because we care about that so much. Hey there, buddy. I accidentally picked the wrong option. I didn't get any skill points out of you last time. Can we go again?
You can always count on the Sabbat to do the wrong thing for the right reasons. They're reckless, but they don't normally try to attract this much attention.
I mean, they're opposed
This
to masquerade. I don't
carelessness
see why
warrants
they don't.
observation. I hope it doesn't become pandemic. The Sabbat's goal is to stop Gehenna, which is very similar to my own, though they choose to do so through more violent, fanatic, and flamboyant methods. The Camarilla, on the other hand, suspends belief entirely, or so goes the party line. What I am is kindred. How others choose to categorize themselves concerns me only where local customs are concerned. Individualism is a path fraught with obstacles and sometimes angry mobs. But for all its hardships, it is the only one worth taking.
I mean, in theory, that just makes you an anarch, but in practice...
What did Johansson have to say? Assyrian origin. Glad to see I'm not losing my touch. As for Meseroch, I'll have to research that name, see what I can find. Lamastu? She was a Lilith figure. They represent empowered women and the threat of such women to male-dominated society. Strange she would be engraved on a king's tomb. The lock and key. An invention as ancient as greed. I should have guessed. All we have to do is find a victor in this nonsense.
Strictly speaking, there
They'll
are
be the one
some
with the
locking
key.
mechanisms in the ancient world, but they're not great.
Yeah.
It seems to corroborate my own evidence. I'm going to have to study it a little more. Maybe dig up some information on Mezerak and the Lamastu myth. I'm certain the key will show up in time. Your information is appreciated. Excellent.
I don't know what that is, but I think I might get XP for giving it to you.